Peace be with you. Welcome back to Healing Life with Positivity 24/7, 365. 365 and 24/7. This is a channel that is dedicated to my inner child, celebrating her. So from my inner child to your inner child, I know that all is well. Congratulations. Look how far you've come. Celebrate how far you've come. I love this channel because it's absolutely dedicated to healing lives with positivity, obsessively, compulsively, deliberately, being addicted to all things positive. You know, you got different kinds of addictions, right? So it's a good thing to be addicted to something positive. I pray, I hope that this channel, this energy, resonates with you in a way that it becomes contagious in your life and all things just go well. That is my prayer. That is my hope for you. If you are returning back, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the meditation. That was my first time doing that. I need to figure out how to minimize the sound. You know, I am setting up my room, so I feel like the acoustics by way of the sound when I do the sleep guided meditations and or just meditations in general. I want to do short meditations, you know, something that you can do early in the morning before you start your day, in the middle of the day if you feel like you need to just go somewhere, and I mean somewhere as in within, right, to gather yourself depending on what's going on in your external world. Absolutely going within, maybe a 5 to 10 minute meditation just to put you back on track, get you back in alignment with whatever it is that's going on, right? Okay. Nevertheless, I love y'all. I always like to start these videos out by saying, peace be with you. Come on in and let's just take 3 nice deep breaths, you know, because we can. And it's a kind reminder to ourselves, our higher selves, every cell in our body, that we are absolutely intentionally deciding consciously to go with the flow. That's all breathing is a beautiful reminder of. In through the nose, out through the mouth. You can't mess this up. Do your best to just be as grounded as possible. It absolutely gets better with time and easier. For those of you that have mastered it, I love you. I think that's great. Hopefully you're teaching other people how to do that, because that's just a beautiful investment in people, right? Okay, let's take a deep breath. I love it. Come on in. Let's just see what's going on, y'all. Happy retrograde, you know, Mercury retrograde. Happy new moon. If you're tapped in, which I feel that a lot of you are, I know that you're feeling a lot of what is going on by way of the ebb and flow of energies, right? Empathetically, right? Sympathetic to people. You can feel their energies. You can feel their intentions, right? So we're not exempt, but we absolutely are a vital, important piece to the mechanics of divine workings, okay? What does that mean? We help calibrate this energy. Your high vibrations, my high vibrations, absolutely helps balance out things that are just fighting by way of vibrations, lower vibrations, right? So when we do that collectively, we're one big ball of high vibrations, right? We balance out the energies. We transmute depression, sickness, suicidal energy. You know, that energy goes out into the ether. So it's very vital and it's very important to stay in a high vibration. You could be helping somebody in a whole nother country just by way of your vibration, right? Just because you've decided to be on a higher frequency, somebody could be needing that, sending that out, focused in on that energy by way of love and light, and sending that to all of the hearts that need peace, love, and light. Absolutely is vital and essential. Let's just see what's going on. Mercury retrograde. Humanitarians, I know you love to give. I know you're a giver. You know how to give. Remember to take a break and balance things out and calibrate. And remember to pour into your cup. When you start feeling depleted or you start feeling tired, those are signs. Those are things that your body is telling you. You may have overextended yourself, right? So those are beautiful times to go within. I'm learning to do that even still, because especially with my children, whew, but they're of age now. So I had to tell them, like, look, I put so much into y'all. They know how to meditate, you know, they know how to pray. They understand how to invoke their angels. So now is the time that I trust the universe and they trust in themselves to do what it is that I've showed them to do. I feel like with children, they come into the world already knowing who they are. As much as we are told that we're supposed to control them and whatever. No, you set boundaries, you teach them, you guide them to their life's path. They will show you what they're here to do. Whatever they gravitate to naturally, be that art, singing, dancing, right? They absolutely will show you who they are naturally, okay? Even I have to be mindful when I project my childhood fears onto my children, because I'm like, a gamer. Like my son's like, I'm gonna be a YouTuber. He's been telling me this since he was 4 years old. I'm like, boy, you gotta do this, da, 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 da. And I said, you know what? Let me stop. Let me just guide him, show him the way. You know, he's been saying it since he was 4. So maybe there's something there for him, or there's something where he's supposed to be seen, right? So I have to be mindful of what I'm manifesting by way of my own, you know, fears and or insecurities. Projecting onto them things maybe that I didn't think I could do at that age, or maybe things that I was not allowed to do, right? Okay. Just a little random blurt by way of my own personal life. Take it, do what you want. Maybe you'll have your own personal random blurt. This is what retrograde is about, because retrograde allows us to really look at who we are from all aspects, be that good, bad, or indifferent. It also is another beautiful opportunity to relive circumstances on a mental level, spiritual level, and work your way through the illusions, right? Because there really is no past, present, and or future. There's really only this moment. That's it. What I said, what you said 8 minutes ago is no longer. It is now in this moment that we exist, and that's just what it is. So let's see what the universe has to say. This says, in God's hands. You know, I always like to show the colors, because I just feel like the colors are just, you know, there's something very calming about that orange and that yellow. Solar plex energy, creative energy. This affirmation says, my trust in life is implicit. God's greater knowing and greatest love guide my heart and all of my choices. My faith is steady, powerful, and strong, and I remain true to my light. Everything unfolds according to God's will. So I encourage you, obsessively, compulsively, deliberately, just meditate on that. That's something good to meditate on. It's a good addiction. Yeah, trusting in the implicit energy by way of God's greater knowing within me, right? I and the Father are one. I and the Creator are one. God is not afar off, although outside of me, I see that God is all around me as well. Ooh. Listen to life, this says. I am attentive to the world around me. I just said that. That's so funny. So freaking funny. I am attentive to the world around me. Signs and symbols guide me to success. I listen and I discover the way to the eternal. Ooh, the blue. Look at the blue and the white with a little hint of pink in the middle. It's calming colors, isn't it? Reminds me of the water. Reminds me of cleansing. Reminds me of natural bodies of water, right? Tropical bodies of water. This says, I am light. More burst of orange and yellow. Sunshine energy. Reminds me of sun gazing. This is what I see after I sun gaze and I stare at the sun with my natural eye. Okay? And I just let that light go in me. After I take my eyes off of the sun is still with me. So I can still see little shapes like this, right? Like little orbs. It says, I am light. I have, wait, what is this? I have always been light. I always have hope. No matter the ordeal, I have faith in a better future. I turn darkness into light. I am light. I open my heart to others and to God, and I am very spiritually strong. I draw light to me, and I shine with all of my being. Ooh. Something about the word shining with all of my being. Let no part of my being, be left behind by way of the light. All of my being, all of my spiritual body, physical body, mental body is light. Interesting. Can I have 3 more cards, angels? Beautiful universe. 1 more. This is learning to love myself. Look at the colors. Turquoise, pink, white. Learning to love myself. I feel like this is a long, why did I want to say long? Did I want to say longevity, long lasting, lifelong lesson? Okay. I meant to say this is an ongoing, okay? Maybe I meant long, okay? Ongoing energy. Retrograde is so interesting with the words, like retrograde has really been making me pay attention to what I say, actually lend my ears to my own words. That's interesting, okay? Just sharing a little bit about my Mercury retrograde experience. I'm sure we all got our own. Feel free to comment down below. It could save somebody else's life. Nevertheless, learning to love myself, it's an ongoing relationship with loving self. Why? Because we're not the same. We're not meant to be the same all the time. We're meant to change. We're meant to evolve. So at every level, there has to be new levels to loving self, because I'm not the same person that I was. So now that I'm not the same, my love has to change. It has to become a little bit more intense. With love, the first thing I think is acceptance. Finding a mirror, looking into your own eyes. I love you and I accept you for who you are. Just that. No side notes, no subconscious, comments. But if only I would this, or if I would that, or whatever you feel you need to do, then do it. You want to lose weight, go work out. You want to change your diet, do it. Nobody's coming to save you. And if somebody does come, you'll realize you're running into a higher version of yourself. So at every level, okay, this is a real conversation. I'm not exempt. That we have with self, these conversations with self have to be real. They have to be honest, right? And all truth in its totality, leaving nothing behind by way of facts. I once was, I am now. Who I have the potential to be is who I'm striving to be. What does that look like? What does that taste like? What does that feel like? Which is always a reminder to engulf all of my senses, getting a nice clear visual of what she looks like. In every aspect, remember, I am light. All of me is light. So when I envision myself in those new ways of being, I'm envisioning myself in its totality. Not just the way I look by way of what that new self appears to be, but how I feel in that new self. I envision myself happy, genuinely, from the inside out. I envision myself well with my inner child, all the inner children that have come before me. Who are the inner children? Grandparents, mama, daddy, bloodline. See your ancestors as little inner children. They came to the earth to try to figure something out, right? Okay, maybe they did. Maybe they left some things for you to pick up on, and that's just what it is. but you are rightfully taking your place to be that beautiful generational curse breaker. There are some curses that my next generations and or my offspring after me will never know. I had to take one for the team. These are affirmations, y'all. Right off the top of my spirit, off the top of my soul, my heart. I gift that to you. I gift that to myself. I hope that you gift new affirmations to yourself, positive ones, and I hope you gift them to others so that it becomes a contagious thing, a domino effect by way of positivity. Positivity is contagious. It really is. It rubs off on you. This card says, I choose to see the beauty in me. My wealth lies in my nature and all my greatest potential. I transform my weaknesses into strengths. I realize that I am a being of light and I allow myself to shine. This right here is vital. I'm gonna tell you why. Because, you know, when you shine so bright, well, I'm gonna use my childhood concerns, right? It was always, church folk, be humble. In my way of seeing that, it was always like, don't shine too bright. And I'm like, why can't I just be happy? I'm still the same way as I was as a kid. I was very bubbly, talkative, singing, dancing. Somebody taking a picture, I'm jumping in the picture, full of energy, happy 99.9% of the time, right? So when you have adults, or we're not gonna even call them adults, we're just gonna call them children, because that's what they are. They were children doing their best to try to be adults. Be humble now, sit down, be quiet, they were only giving you what they had learned up until that point. Now, were those bad advices? No, but there's balance in that. Even as a child and doing your shadow work, you gotta go back and take what resonates and leave the rest. In that, naturally, you will start to forgive people who just did the best that they could. And that's okay, right? Okay. Beautiful angels. What else does the universe want us to know in this current moment, current time? I'm okay with 2 more cards. I'm going to keep these messages short so that you all can just kind of, maybe create a playlist if you want, There's other beautiful spiritual teachers out there. I'm just really glad that I'm a part of that pie, I'm a part of the whole collectively. I got beautiful teachers that I've learned from. I got people that I still learn from. The learning doesn't stop. That's what's so beautiful, Your future self is thanking you. Your higher self is thanking you. You are the highest version of yourself right now in this moment. So celebrate that and enjoy it. This says me. A lot of this is going back to I, me, self, source is saying. So me, I and source are one. Me and the creator are one. Look at the beautiful green. This green reminds me of money, earth, healing. Now I know by way of chakras, green represents the heart. Speaking from my heart, the desires of my heart, manifesting from my heart space. Genuine energy, authenticity is what that color, is a kind reminder of, right? We can't really mess up life. We've made some good mistakes. You'll probably make a few more, but with you now, you have wisdom. We're in the age of information. There's not too much that we can't find out. So to make a mistake that's detrimental, it's kind of hard at this point in life, unless it's just something you can't control. And even in that, one must learn to surrender, right? Yeah, what's out of your control is out of your control, but what's in your control is how you decide to see things. This is what I've learned about shadow work, how I view my childhood. My 10-year-old asked me, he says, Mom, what would you say to your little self right now, knowing what you know? We're sitting in the car because sometimes we go when I don't cook and we go get food and we eat in the car. We just like to eat in the car to be out of the house, right? And so I'm eating a veggie stir fry. Child, it was so good with cabbage and kale. Ooh, from this vegan spot, it was so good. Shit, it was so good. Nevertheless. And so we're eating in the car, and he says, it's 5:55 on the clock. That's so funny. He says, what would you say? And I go, which version of myself are you talking about? Is it the 6-year-old, the 7-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old? He goes, whichever one you want. It's so funny because he's basically like was responding to me like, you can't mess this up. Whether he realized that or not, it was just like, which one of your younger selves comes to mind, right? Sometimes I'm an overthinker, slightly perfectionist, you know, and that just comes from wanting to make things right, right? So nevertheless, I said, my 10-year-old self. And then I started to tell him a story about me when I was 10, and it was a beautiful memory that I had of my mother, right? And in that moment, I had already forgiven her, but I think I had more space in my heart to forgive her. Because when I flash back to that moment, I could feel her genuine effort to want to see me better. She had really good intentions. And I held back my tears, and I just took a deep breath, and you know, the tears were tears of joy. I think the joy was coming from the fact that I had just set myself free from something that I didn't even still know was lying dormant. It was so tiny, it was so small compared to how far I've come, right? And so as he's asking me that, I just start laughing. You know, I just start laughing, and then I'm really present in a moment with him. And I just look at him and I take in, you know, everything. I take in what I'm wearing. I take in just that moment, because I knew that later that's going to be a good moment to flash back on when I'm a lot older, when I think about my life. It will be a good moment to go back to, and I don't want to miss any of the details by way of nostalgia. I just took it in. I looked at what he was wearing. I looked at his shorts. I looked at his food. I looked at the smile on his face. I took a deep breath, and I took in the smells, and I looked outside, and I looked at the time, right? Okay, so I got really into it. Nevertheless, it was really beautiful having a shadow moment with him. And him as my spirit guide. Him being 10, listening to me talk about myself when I was 10 was beautiful. Whew. Welcome to retrograde, right? Welcome to retrograde. So this says, me, I allow serenity to reign in me. The love I have for myself invites harmony to settle within my being. I listen to and I honor myself, and I strive to fulfill the needs of my soul. What is my soul's mission? What is keeping my soul fed? What am I feeding my soul, right? Because your soul has got to eat on a soul level. It's beyond the tangible. It's beyond the nails, the rings, the hair, the dress, the physical. Those are just icings, I feel like, on all of my cakes, more than one. The soul, you know, the essence of who you are, what's in that vessel, who's in that vessel, what is the mission of that soul, and why has it come to this moment? Why? The Creator is allowing me to take a really deep breath in this moment. I am alive, whereas I'm very much aware that there is somebody on this planet right now in this moment at this time at 5:59 that is taking their last breath. The ebb and flow of life. So the soul's mission to be in this beautiful conversation with all of you all over the world. Even if only 300 people see this video, those are the 300 people that were supposed to see it. I'm okay with that. I'm looking for people that know how to have a soul conversation, soul food, That's what these conversations are. They feed the soul. That is the intention that I've set for this platform. And so it is. And I know it will be. May these words live on long after I'm gone. In 144 years, or whenever I decide, well, I'm just going to take a deep breath and pass through to the next stage, right? That's how I see transition. Needless to say, courage. Thank you for allowing me to go on that retrograde tangent. You know what I mean? It's a real conversation. It's a real conversation. Listen, I'm going to start going live too, so we can kind of talk a little bit and have real conversations. I'm being very patient, y'all, with getting my office set up, just so you know. But I want to get connected. Like, I want to be connected to my soul tribe. I hope that we're able to travel, meet each other in real life, safely. Obviously, we're all online. We know each other online. We might get in person and be like, oh my God, I didn't know you got to wear socks everywhere you go. Random facts like that. I think it'll be fine. I think it's going to work out just fine. In fact, I know it is. I get a really beautiful vision of what it's going to look like. And I hold to that vision. I hope that you hold to that vision as well. But I see us very happy in the near future. And I see us happy right now as well. But this is courage. Yeah, this is courage. Look at this beautiful orange. It's so pretty. So nice. This reminds me of fire, desire. What lights your fire? What keeps you happy? What's driving you, right? Yeah, you know how sometimes you hit a plateau? You're like, this used to excite me, but now I feel like I need to go on to something else, right? And that's okay. That could really be a scary thing sometimes, especially when you've mastered something. I remember when I decided that I, didn't want to do hair anymore. Like, I was really over it. Like, I didn't get any joy out of it. It was never the money. I always got paid really well. But I was just like, I just feel like there's something else I'm supposed to move on to, right? So it was a little sad. It was like, oh, well, this is what I do. Wait a minute, now what? Okay, then I went on to something else. And it wasn't that scary once I decided to take the dive. So courage, right? Shifting gears, trying something new. This says, I am stronger than my fears and bigger than all my doubts. I am light. I remain light. I trust in God and I stand tall before the test of life. I grow and become wiser through every challenge. I am a being of new life. This is powerful, y'all, because when we say that we're going through ascensions, transformations, there is absolutely a part of you that has to die. There are things that you absolutely just no longer need. Be that a profession, a person, a place or thing, a version of yourself, absolutely has to go. In order for you to become the butterfly, you absolutely must transform. Okay? And then maybe after the butterfly has transitioned, you come back as an eagle or a hawk. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just thinking. I'm just saying. I just feel like there has to be always something that keeps you going. I've sat with a lot of wealthy people, wealthy in the sense that they had money, right? Money in the bank, nice cars, And I've always been a lover of people. I like to listen to their stories, and I always like to take from those stories wisdom. I'm always listening. I got a lot of stories in my mind that I would take with me. I've talked to a lot of people, y'all, a lot. And I'm sure you have too, right? But in that, it reminds me to always have something that I can reach for. And especially with talking to wealthy people and then talking to people that did not have a lot, I found that a lot of people that had been through hardships have more joy than people that were just given things. Like, they really didn't know what it took to get, the wealth. Like, it's like wealthy children just born into money. They really don't understand the sacrifices that are made. Now, you got a lot of wealthy people too that are very practical. They don't just give to their children. They make them earn it because they understand character has to go along with wealth, or a fool and his money will soon be parted. You won't understand the magnitude of finances and money, right? But I've sat with some wealthy people who've had everything. And I'm so fortunate, y'all, because every time I'm with somebody who's wealthy, or I've been in their home, or like Spirit had me on assignment, I'm like, I'm in a 10,000 square foot mansion with this one lady, not even knowing I'm on assignment. And I sit there and I look at her and I'm like, this beautiful home, look at the woodwork and the story behind the home. And the guy who built the home, he was an architect, right? It was initially a 3-bedroom home, okay, 1,400 square feet. And his wife was having infertility issues. They never thought they would have children. Well, they ended up having children. Very spiritual guy. So he keeps adding on to the house. It ended up becoming 10,000 square feet. He had some of the best ideas. The woodwork. He engraved scriptures in the woodwork. So I'm looking at her, and she's so unhappy in this home, but she's offering me everything. And I went back and I meditated. I said, now here's a woman that has everything, but there's no peace in her home. There's no joy. It's like Spirit was showing me what you think you want is really something that you already have. Because with very little, I had learned to be happy, but she seemed to be angry with me. Why are you so happy and you've lost everything? And in my mind, I thought, well, hell, what else can I do? I didn't even think that being happy like that in spite of was a gift. Had I suffered, had I felt bad for what I had lost? Heck yeah, that was hard. I lost a lot of things that meant something to me. Primarily baby pictures, things like that. But I would look at her and I'm like, and I'm on assignment, not even knowing I'm on doggone assignment, okay? On a whole assignment, spiritual assignment. And I looked at her and I'm like, dang, you got a Range Rover, you got a Bentley, you got all this stuff. Child, she never drove nothing. But she was very controlling. You know, never lived in the house, never went in the backyard, never, it was just like, what? Is this real? The house was quiet, it was cold. But when I really got to know her towards the end of me leaving, I got the lesson. And I said, this person wants love. She feels misunderstood. She's helped a lot of people. She's closed herself off now. She ain't got many friends, you know. She was hiding the fact that she would indulge in alcohol. Very functionable, drinker. I'm not going to say alcoholic because I never called her like drunk. But she had that was her go-to, right? But she was really sad. She had been very about her business. She had attained a lot. Success, wealth, but she wasn't happy. Oftentimes, you know what I found when you have people like that and they've attained a lot of wealth? It's the inner child that's suffering. It's the inner child that's saying, I'm going to teach them. I'm going to get a master's. I'm going to get a this. But the inner child is still angry, still upset. So I would see that she would take things out on me and I'd be like, yo, what the hell? I'm just minding my business. Like, I'm back here enjoying this beautiful tennis court, right? Mind you, I had lost everything. I was just renting a side of this 10,000 square foot home to get back on my feet. And I had never lived in anybody else's house ever in my life. So you talk about humility. I told Source, I said, where am I going? What is the journey that I got to go through this? Like, what is it about? But everything that I had that I lost, okay, on a monetary level went with the circumstance and the situation. So you talk about clearing house, the Most High cleared house. And everything that went with it. Looking back in hindsight, I can laugh about it because I get it. Oh, okay, that's why I had to go through that. Oh, this was the reason. Okay, this was why. I got it. I understood, right? I had to learn when I can look back with no regrets. Even when I had ignored my intuitive nudges, because you know that right there will keep you in the spirit of not forgiving yourself, whether you realize it or not. Like, damn, something told me I should have, I should have did this. And you'll beat yourself up. Listen, you didn't. Had you known, you would have done it. But guess what you learn? When you get that intuitive nudge, you do it. You don't procrastinate, you follow it. That is your compass, that is your experience, that is your wisdom, that is your inner guidance. Your higher self telling you, hey, pay attention to this. Pay attention to that. Minimize the chaos. Leave chaotic people and vexatious people behind. Because at some point, they'll just chip away at your spirit without you realizing it. You'll look up, you're like, damn, what happened? I gained weight. This is not me. You'll look in the mirror, won't even recognize yourself. But those are really good life lessons. Welcome to retrograde, trip down memory lane, vitality. Let's come back to the current moment. Join me in this current moment. Changes are coming. I keep seeing 355, 3555 on the clock. Look at that beautiful green. Vitality. I am a being of light. I accept divine energy in my body, and every one of my cells is regenerated. Listen, let me tell y'all something. Every time I go somewhere, people think I'm young. Like really young, right? Until I start to talk and they're like, oh, okay, all right. You know, they want to ask your age, but then they don't know. And then they just start saying, yes, ma'am. But I'm going to tell you something. When you release that anger, that pain, because I look back at some of my younger pictures and I look tired and worn out, and somebody was running through my life, running amok. Okay, I was a reflection of the chaos. I was a reflection of my kind-hearted spirit being abused. You know, me overextending to people. Why? Because I watched my mother do it. I watched my grandmother do it. Like, yeah, that stopped right here. You're not about to abuse this beautiful heart. And then I started to look like the chaos. I started to feel like the chaos. My health and all that was looking crazy, and I was young. And I was like, yo, what is this? This is not me. I knew better. I got derailed. So I said, okay, I know what to do. I knew about meditation. I knew about affirmation. I said, somewhere I lost myself and I got to go back and pick myself up. First and foremost, I got to get rid of this job. It's stressing me out. I'm done there. It was a joy to be there, but now that I'm not having fun, I got to go. Well, what you going to do for money? I don't know, but this is not it. I got to get out of this marriage. I got to leave this friendship. I got to leave these family members behind. And I did it in a way that it was like myself saying, you know, 911, abort. I was saying to myself, jump over, swim away, get the hell off this ship. It's sinking with these people. And then I just lovingly guided myself right on back as if I had never left and got right back to the basics. And every day I got up, you know, I started looking at myself in the mirror. I'm like, dang, I look young. Why? Because I was being restored. My light was coming back. I wasn't around anybody that was, you know, taking my light for granted with the assumption that I'd be there to do everything for them all the time. Misunderstanding my kindness. And two, I had to sacrifice and say, you know what? I'm taking time out for me. Don't ask me to do nothing for nobody. I knew that I had the ability to do things for other people, but I didn't want to do it to a fault anymore. I didn't want to do it to the point where it debilitated people, because that's exactly what it did. They would look at me when something happened. They're like, well, what are we going to do? I'm like, what? Huh? And I was always fight or flight. I would sit back. I would meditate. I would get a download. Okay, this is what we need to do. I'm like, it's some money somewhere. Literally, just imagine not having one penny in your pocket. And I'm sitting there in a house full of people and everybody's looking at me, right? Adults. And I'm like, it's some money somewhere. I don't know why I felt it was some money somewhere. Child started searching, ended up finding $100, fed the whole house for the day, gave thanks to the Most High. True story. Found it in a jacket pocket. Didn't know how it was there, didn't know how long it had been there. Then I found a $50 bill, fed the house for the day. Then I heard a download that said money is coming. I said, oh, money's coming. Okay, while everybody else is freaking out, now I'm going to God. Nobody else is going to God. I'm praying. I'm taking my last dollar, going to buy a white candle, taking my bath, still praying. But nobody's helping themselves. Yeah, that's out of balance. Those were assignments. Those were temporary circumstances. Those were people that at some point it was over. Because as I was figuring things out, I looked around, with the exception of my children who are dependent. I don't include them, they're children, right? Yeah. I looked around and I was like, ooh, I got to get out of here. This is too much. I need equal give and take. And I'd rather be alone than to be in bad company. Bad company is somebody you're in a room with that you just feel disconnected from. Something needs to be done. They're looking at their phone or they're sleeping and, you're like, wait a minute, something needs to be done. Or they're doing the bare minimum, right? Okay. These are lessons. So now moving forward, child, I can spot that situation coming a mile away. Why? Because I've been through it. If I talk to somebody and I see they're in that same circumstance, I know exactly what they're going through. They don't even have to tell me. I can see it because I know what it looks like. I can see it on their energy, on their face. I can look them right in the face and be like, yeah, you letting that person take advantage of you. This is what I'm thinking in the back of my mind. Then they just start opening up. Well, I'm in this relationship. I be like, you out here tired. Your shirt is unbuttoned. Did you eat something today? Did you drink some water? Child, this person is sucking you dry. But on a positive note, had you not had circumstances like that, you wouldn't know how to save yourself. So it's all good. But save yourself. Don't stay there. Don't do it. It's okay. Whoever that person is, they're going to have to figure it out. Sometimes it's children. Okay, when I mean children, I mean people that are able to do something for themselves, with the exception of being under the age of 10. If you 10, you know how to pick up your own pants, you know how to wash your own butt. Hopefully you know how to make yourself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, something. Because all of what you've poured into a child, a person, or whoever up to said point is not because they should be handicapped. They need to take note, take it, and run. And when your time is done, you said, my work here is done. I wish you a good farewell. I hope you figure it out. And I trust that the Most High will intercede on your behalf. But my job here is done. My assignment is complete. And you have to go to your next assignment. And sometimes the next assignment is you. Ooh, we'll get into it on the next video. I love y'all. This is the time that we take our arms and wrap our arms around ourselves and hug ourselves and love ourselves and tell ourselves, you know what? I love you, self. I have every right to be here. I have every right to love. I deserve to be happy. I deserve equal give and take. I deserve peace. I deserve to shine unapologetically without needing to curb my enthusiasm by way of other people's insecurities. I send them love and light with the hopes that they are powerful enough, smart enough, intuitive enough, wise enough to send light to themselves as well. I have every right to be here, just like the stars, the trees, the birds, the grass. Okay, I'm here. We matter. I love you. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, peace be with you.